Ragazzi, just because there's no Serie A doesn't mean we're not going to talk some calcio today. We're going to look at how each of our Serie A players are doing each match day in the World Cup and see how they're coming along as we got nothing else to do during this World Cup break. All right, we skip match day 1 because there's no Serie A players between Ecuador and Qatar. So we're going to skip all the way to match day 2 because we got a few players in this match day. So we'll start first at Senegal versus Holland. Netherlands won 2-0. So let's start with Senegal. First, Fodo Ballo-Touré, Milan player, did not play.
Seriously, what the fuck are you doing?
Moving on to our second player, Boulaye Dia. He largely had a quiet game, with the exception of a couple decent opportunities in the game against Holland. He ended up getting 2 shots. One shot was blocked, but the second shot forced a nice save by the keeper. Definitely going in on goal, but yeah, that was about the extent of the positive play, I would say, by Ja. Now, overall, as a striker, not bad. 91% passing accuracy. Ended up coming off in the 69th minute. Did not last the whole game, obviously. You can't really blame him, honestly. It's always going to be difficult when you play Virgil van Dijk and company. The Holland defense is pretty strong, pretty stout. So a guy who's really filling in for Sadio Mane is going to always find it difficult, especially when he's not as mobile as Mane. So in the 69 minutes that Dia played, he was fouled twice and only had about 18 touches. Not many touches for a striker. Largely ineffective, as I mentioned. So I'm giving this a learning time of player. He's going to get 6.5 out of 10 for me. Moving on to Netherlands, we're going to go with Martin de Roon. He came in on the 90th minute, so we're not going to give him a rating. He just came in really to kind of close up shop at the end of the game. Next up, Toon CUP Miners, the stalwart for Atalanta, another Atalanta player. He came on in the 79th minute for Berghaus. In his brief appearances, he did have 10 touches with about 70% accuracy of passing. Not bad for his short time on the pitch. Now, he was mostly quiet, did create one scoring opportunity, also had one nice tackle, 100% tackle percentage, I believe it was. So I'm giving the Atalanta player 6 out of 10 in his relief appearance. Moving on to Stefan de Vrij, did not play. And lastly, for the Netherlands, Denzel Breckfries, Dumfries, played right wing back and largely ineffective in that position. He's out of position, obviously, but largely ineffective. Interisi, you can attest to this, right? All season long, not doing much there in the position that he's not really too familiar with. Though he played a full 90 minutes, did not do very well. Only 60% passing in the game. Had 59 touches, so was around the ball often enough. Just wasn't doing anything with it. Now, he had the unenviable task of guarding Ismaila Sarr from Senegal, and Sarr took him to work all game long. Sarr, arguably the man of the match for Senegal, and Dumfries found it very difficult against a Senegalese player. Dumfries was unable to complete any crosses in the game, was dispossessed a lot. He only won 50% of his tackles in the match and committed 3 fouls in the process. It is a day to forget for Denzel Dumfries. The Interista gets 5 out of 10. All right, next matchup in the day was England versus Iran. 6-2 winners for England. First, let's look at the English squad and Fikayo Tomori and Tammy Abraham. Never mind, they didn't make the squad. All right, forget England. Let's go to Iran. Let me check my notes here. Nima Tavali did not play for them, and they had no Serie A players. So we're just going to skip this game altogether. Moving on to the last game of the day, which is USA versus Wales, 1-1. We had some Serie A players in this one. First up for the USA, Weston McKennie, the Juventus player. Between him, Musa, and Tyler Adams, he was the least effective out of all of them. Weston only played 66 minutes, and in that time, a 70% passer rating, whilst touching the ball 42 times. So was involved a little bit here and there, but rather, like I said, ineffective for the most part. Now, there were some positives for him, right? He had 2 clearances, 6 recoveries. All in all, a good day in that regards. However, he did still commit 4 fouls in the game. I believe he picked up a yellow, and he was largely overshadowed by Musa and the man of the match, Tyler Adams. So had all that going against him. Rather quiet, and you didn't even know he was on a pitch at times other than his red, white, and blue hair. So I'm going to give the Juventino 6.5 out of 10 in this one. Now, Moving on to Serginho Dest of the USA right back. As Weston McKennie was quiet, Serginho Dest had a better game in this one. Overall, he ended up playing only 74 minutes before he ran out of steam and getting subbed off for DeAndre Yedlin. Dest had an astonishing 83 touches in this one. Obviously, a lot of focus going towards him, and completed an impressive 91% passing, one of the highest on the team. Very impressive there by the young American Milan player. Serginho also got a shot on target, and his actually long ball passing is pretty decent as well. It's about 60% accurate from his long ball passes. So overall, not a bad game for young Dest. He ended up making 2 clearances as well in the defensive end and getting 4 recoveries. So the Milan player was going to get 7 out of 10 in this one. Now, moving on to the other side, the Welsh team, Ethan Mpadu. He had a very strong game for the Welsh team. The defensive midfield did play 89 minutes and got 1 shot off in the process. Ethan touched the ball 61 times with 70% passing accuracy. Not too bad for a defensive midfielder. Defensively was strong, 100% of his tackles, block shot, 5 clearances in the game, had 1 interception and 5 recoveries as well. Well, it's an all-around decent, pretty strong defensive performance by Ampadu. Outside of Gareth Bale, the guy who scored a game-tying goal, he was one of the best Welsh players in my opinion. And so the Welshman, the Spezia player, will get 7.5 out of 10 for me. So that puts a bow on match day 2 of the Serie A players that were involved. Look over here for match day 3 to see who was involved for Serie A. We had lots of players involved in match day 3, so check that out.